Welcome back, everyone. So what do we have here? A lot of you folks might know what this is. I'll give you a few minutes. No, I won't. Just kidding. This is a 1958 fleur-o-ray Circline light fixture for what would typically be found in a 1950s kitchen. These were installed in tract homes all across America. But what makes this one so special is it is a 16-inch model, and I have not found a single one anywhere. I've been looking for months to find this size fixture. They don't exist, but they do. So here's the story. This one actually came out of my coworker's house, and before he bought the house, this would have been installed. This would have been originally installed in his kitchen, and then at some point, probably in the 80s or 90s, somebody pulled the fixture down and mounted it in the basement, and it's been there ever since. He says he never tried using it before. The wiring looked a little sketchy, but he found out that I was looking for one of these, and when he finally put the house on the market, he took it down and left it on my desk, actually as of yesterday. And I was out yesterday, so that makes perfect sense. So this sucker is exactly what I was looking for. It is a 16-inch. Now, the thing about 16-inch fixtures is they are completely, the bulbs, I don't even know where you can, I know where you can get, don't worry, I got bulbs. But they aren't in production anymore. They are being phased out completely. This is basically a very obsolete unit. And we'll take a look underneath. You'll notice that this one does not have a preheat starter. This actually has its original General Electric rapid start ballast. I'll clean it off so we can take a look at that. But I'm so excited. I'm going to fix this thing up, and we're going to do it on this video. We're going to do it tonight. We're going to get this. We're hopefully get this mounted in the kitchen tonight. We'll see what happens. So it's for 140 watt RS lamp, rapid start lamp. So yeah, there is no starter on this. It's not needed. No preheat. Inside here, this is a junction box. That's all this is. Nothing special in there, just a junction box. It has a pull switch mounted to the side. I don't believe that to be original. I think that was added later on. We'll leave it there for aesthetics. I'll clean the chain up, make it look pretty, but I'm not going to hook it up or anything. So the wiring is in pretty good shape. It's not bare or anything. Obviously, this right here, this is not safe. But we're not too worried about this. This thing was actually plugged in for many years, but never used, and the tape was falling off. Look, I want a little PSA here. Don't use electrical tape on stuff like this. It is not safe. It dries up, it falls off, and it causes short circuits. At best, it'll energize the... oh, I just lost most of the label. Oh well. Alright, before I go nuts trying to clean it up, we're going to have to put a bulb in this thing. I want to make sure it actually works. He didn't have a bulb for this, so we're on our own. So like I said, I have bulbs. I went over to my local Lowe's hardware store, and they just happen to have a dozen of these suckers on clearance. These are $1.48 a piece, these 16-inch bulbs. And if this lamp works, I might go back and buy a couple more just to have them. And then if somebody watches this video can't find one, let me know. I'll maybe find a way to hook you up. So this is a 16-inch Circline bulb. They don't even make these fixtures. You can't even get fixtures that work with these anymore. I mean, these are just crazy. You can't get them. They don't make them. Well, you can get them if you know where to look. But anyway, so let's just snap the sucker in. Now these are directional. The socket end of the Circline bulb is designed to work at a particular angle, up or down. So they are not universal. They have to go in one particular way. But the plugs themselves, they're pretty self-explanatory in how to hook them up. Let's get this clipped in. That's in there like that. Oh, it just got unplugged. Let's plug it back in. So we're going to have a field day polishing up this chrome, or what's left of it. We'll see how bad it is. I'm prepared to repaint the whole thing a satin nickel. I'm actually thinking of doing that for seriousness. All right, let's get this plugged in. Okay. All right, let's see what's going to happen. So this is a 61-year-old fixture. I'm going to shut this off. See what happens. Here we go. Oh, it works. It works. It works. It works. Nice. Not terribly bright though. I thought it would be brighter than this. And again, yeah, it's running okay. But I thought it would be a little brighter. Not terribly impressed, to be honest. Well, okay. I mean, it works. It works. But it doesn't make a lot of light. I thought it would be a lot brighter. But I guess I was wrong. So maybe we won't be putting this in the house after all. It does seem a little dim. For sure. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I was not expecting. This is a 40 watt T9, and I guess. Well, then again, I mean, it is on a dark surface. Let's see if we can. I mean, yeah, I guess it's. All right. Well, let's just roll with it. Could be a bad ballast. It's not that big a deal. If I have to buy a ballast for it, I'm sure I can get something that'll work. But I just expected it to be a lot brighter than this. On camera, it looks really bad, but it's not. I mean, in person, it's uniform. You know, it definitely works. But all right, let's unplug it. We'll mount it on the ceiling and see if that improves things for us. I mean, the bulb I have up here is an LED bar, so it's going to be brighter. All right, let's take this bulb off. And we're going to start cleaning it up. Okay. So it produces allegedly 2,700 lumens, which is pretty damn bright. This thing might have a bad ballast. So, all right. What I gotta do, 2,700 lumens, and it's not as bright as my 800 lumen basement bulb. All right, so let's just do this. We're gonna take some WD-40 and we're gonna just kind of rub it off. See how bad this chrome looks. Get all the dust and shit off. It's not too bad. It's not great, but it's not too bad either. I can't return those bulbs. If I decide not to employ this fixture in the house for one reason or another, I'm stuck with all those bulbs, so I might have made a $5 mistake. I think they cost me like $6 or $7, so it's not that big a deal. I'll throw them on Facebook or something. Marketplace. I don't think I can return them. I bought them on clearance, so I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll give it a fair shot. We'll try to mount it and see. All right, it's cleaning up okay. There's a little bit of rust here and there. This was a kitchen fixture, so chances are the rust came from the fact that it was mounted in an unconditioned basement for so many years, in like a workshop area. So it does have a little bit of rust, but it's not that bad. Let's see, a little bit there. A little disappointed. I thought it would be a hell of a lot brighter. So the one that I have now, it's got see, the 12-inch bulbs, they're 1950 lumens. So, maybe if it's mounted on a white ceiling, that might be the big reason why it's not so awesome looking. But we'll play. All right, I had some steel wool here. Put this over here. All right, let's get some steel wool. Now this one, it's old and contaminated. I'll get a fresh pad of it. Let's get a fresh piece here. So the steel wool that we're going to use on this, I would prefer brass wool or bronze wool, but this is what I have. This is 4/0 steel wool, that's 4 zeros. And we're just going to lightly buff it, even pressure. And clean off all that corrosion and grime and grit. And we're going to do the same thing here. But this is the genuine article. I might just throw this guy on eBay. Seriously, cleaned up, some straightened out wiring. It could be worth a bit of money. Again, these 16 inchers are so hard to find. They're just unobtainable. So if somebody's trying to build a period correct 1950s kitchen, this is the crowning jewel. You really need to have one of these light fixtures. I settled for a reproduction, and I'm actually quite happy with it. It works nicely. It's bright as hell, but it's not authentic, man. Yeah, this chrome is, somebody cleaned it improperly, and they really did a number on it. Somebody tried to polish it up. They probably used a Brillo pad. I mean, people are people. I mean, they don't know any better sometimes, and I can't blame them for it. So, the same thing happened to my original bathroom vanity. I'm trying to clean the screw heads here. They did the same thing. They used the wrong thing, and they just ruined it. So I ended up having to paint the chrome because there was no saving it. It was just beat to hell. You know, and that's what happens to it. Okay, we'll clean this off. But you can see that rust just coming right off. You know, it will clean up nicely, for sure. But you can tell it was mounted in a wet location or a damp location for many years. At least it wasn't thrown away. I mean, you gotta think about that. It could have been removed and tossed, but somebody decided to repurpose it, which is why it's still here today. So, you know, you don't want to get upset over the mistakes that other people make when, if it wasn't for the fact that they even tried to save it, it would have been thrown away years ago. So, all right. And if it needs a new ballast, I can find a 40-watt ballast. I'm sure I'll find one that'll fit. That won't be a problem. A little bit of paint on it. I actually have a paint stripper that I use, and it works really well, especially in latex. So I'm not too concerned about that. It's actually cleaning it pretty nicely. I'm impressed. But ultimately, I think it's a candidate for a repaint. It just isn't that good. If I'm going to restore this fixture, I'm going to repaint it. If only there was an economical way to replace chrome. There really isn't. Other than paint, and with paints, you got to be careful. There's all these different types. The one I like is I use this Rust-Oleum paint. This has a nice metal flake look to it. It's the Universal Advanced Metallic Primer or whatever. It's not great going directly over chrome. You need I believe a self-etching primer for that to make it work, you know, effectively. But it's better than nothing. And that's the I guess that's the mantra of somebody who's trying to save the unsavable. It's better than nothing. And it's better than paying $900 to re-chrome a light fixture that's not even worth $100. So, but you know, I don't think I'm going to put it in the kitchen. It's just not. It's not bright enough. I would have to put more money into it. It's a tough call. Let's try to clean up these bulb brackets. Now these clean up nicely. These are just unpainted steel, and they had a coating on them originally that would have resisted the rust, but because it was in a basement for so long, I might just put this guy on eBay. I'm thinking of all the places I could put it, and the kitchen was, I don't know, I just don't think it's bright enough, not in its current state. So. But yeah, these will clean up okay. Got to remove that stupid pull switch that somebody put on there. Unfortunately, that means they drilled a hole in the side. Let's get rid of that now. These are clean. There we go. And it looks like that switch is factory. That hole is it's punched, it's not drilled, so that may be factory. Why that would be here, I don't have a clue, unless it was designed to be used on an unswitched circuit, which could be the case. So yeah, that paint, we'll just chip it off. The paint, overspray, overspill. I'm thinking, I really would like to see what it looks like mounted before I make any rash decisions, honestly. Yeah, it would be nice to see that before I decide what to do. Alright, I cleaned it up as good as I'm going to get it right now. I'm going to take some of this Deoxit D100. We're going to clean the contact. I'm going to clean those contacts out, flush them. Okay. That stuff usually does a pretty good job of restoring connectivity to old, greasy, gross, nasty connections. I cleaned up this wire sheathing a little bit. It was caked, and this is how I know for a fact this was a kitchen light, because it definitely had some residue of cooking oils and stuff built in. And so you want to remove some of that. Alright, let's put a bulb back in, see what's going to happen. What makes this one a little bit different from most of the Circline fixtures, and this is probably why it's so dim, there is nothing to reflect the light back to us. I just realized that the one in the kitchen right now is the bulbs are within the chromed area, so they reflect light really well. So against a white background, this thing should shine like the sun. Let's plug it in. You know, I think it'll work out. I think it'll work out. I think at this point it's time we kill the power to the kitchen and try to mount this sucker. Breaker 7, Sunny. Here she goes. So, okay, it's installed, and this is absolutely gorgeous. Let's turn it on. So this is as close of an approximation of what would have been in this house 65 years ago. But a much rarer version of it, because again, the 16-inch lamps are very, very hard to find. I think I have enough bulbs for this now. I got about 4 of them on they're on clearance for $1.50 a piece. And they normally sell for $10 a piece. So I'm just going to pick up a couple more of those. I love it. Amelia seems to like it. Do you like it?
I like it.
Okay, perfect. As long as she's happy. All right, well, that's it for now. Thank you for watching. And I won't be painting this fixture. I'm going to leave it just the way it is. So until then. On a side note, I went ahead and started painting these columns. These have now 2 coats on them. This is just Rust-Oleum Safety Yellow, and that is between that or red. Those are like the most common colors. I know when I painted the basement walls, I had mentioned that I was going to paint these, and I wasn't sure whether to go Battleship Gray or Yellow. But then I decided when I paint the floor, I'm going to use Battleship Gray. So I think the gray, the yellow, and the white will work perfectly for a basement. It's kind of funny because I actually have a can of paint from when those columns were originally painted. And this is what they used. This is it's kind of fun getting a house that was only a one owner, because nobody really came in here to clean it out ever. So, and I bought it as a fiduciary type deal. So you kind of wonder, well, that original paint is really faded. When I have news for you, that is actually the color they used. This is an authentic mid-50s pastel yellow, and I actually have the original paint in the can, and here it is. This is what they used when they painted these poles originally. This is Circline Canary Yellow, number 434. And would you believe it? This paint is still good. No, really. I can't. Number one, I'm surprised I have this, but this is the actual paint that was used by the original owner in the mid-50s when they painted these columns yellow. And I actually was going to use it again and just recoat them. But then I'm like, no. It's a very dull yellow. It's not paint. It's not faded. This is literally what color it is. And I, like I said, I tested this paint on a piece of wood about 2 years ago. And it actually was still good. It still smelled good. It still rolled on fine. Let me put the camera on a tripod here. I figure while we're on a 50s kick, let's really dive in, right? So I tested this paint along with a couple of other cans of paint that came with the house. One of them was leaded, and all the paints came back to life after over 60 years of being sealed in these cans. I have a can of a flat white ceiling paint, and I have a can of nice hiss. Let's get this out on a tray. But there we go. So it doesn't look like much right now. If I take a paint stick, where are my paint sticks? Hold on. Okay, so right here I've got a paint stick, and you can see it's quite separated from the last time I worked this stuff, but if I stir it real good, it actually is able to reconstitute just fine. Which is impressive because this paint is over 65 years old. And I grabbed I don't have any clean brushes right now, I have to get some more, but it paints on like you wouldn't, like no paint I've ever used before. It is so smooth. This is unleaded paint, folks. This is an alkylid based paint, basically an oil paint. And it's still good. Like, for reals. I could use this. I don't know what I'm not going to do that. I'm going to keep it in the house and just, keep it as a conversation piece, but it mixes up nicely. There's no rust in the can. Because it's oil-based, there's no rust forming inside the can, like you would typically find with old latex paints. Which is why I believe a lot of latex paints now come in plastic cans. But mix it right up there. But I mean, just look at the can. Look at the she looks like Jane Jetson. You can see there's little kid drawings on there. It's a beautiful can. I wish this were sealed and not actually stained up and everything. Use room same day. No unpleasant odor. Made with odorless solvents. And really, it smells pretty good. Now, paint like this, which is an unleaded paint, I believe it states on the can that it contains no lead. Here are the ingredients. Titanium, calcium pigment, titanium dioxide, calcium carbonate, non-volatile, I think it says soya alkyd resin, volatile, odorless mineral spirit, 63%, contains no lead pigment. So, this is a lead-free paint from the 50s. And they use this stuff, I believe, in kitchens. That's why this was a... See, they knew, in the 1950s, they knew lead was poisonous, and yet they continued to manufacture lead paint. Here's a little bit of dried residue from inside the can, but it came right back to life, and you can see on the little ruler here, it's perfectly good paint. But so unleaded paint was definitely a thing back then. It existed, and it was used on kitchen cabinets and cupboards and things, because they knew damn well that lead was poisonous. I mean, it's not like they didn't know, but yet the paint industry continued to manufacture leaded paint well into the 1970s, knowing damn well how poisonous the shit was. It wasn't until the government stepped in and said no more lead paint that they finally said, okay, we'll make something different. And for those of you folks who are against government regulation, this is a shining example of why government regulation is actually a good thing sometimes, because they only made unleaded paint for those who were willing to pay the extra money, I guess, for areas where food was prepared. But that's really, I believe, where this stuff would have been used. This is actually the same, no, this is not the paint that was used in the cabinets. There was a much more vivid yellow used up in the kitchen, I think. Hold on, let's take a look. I kind of wonder about that. So I actually went through, I got a couple of lead paint test kits. So this is this. It's the same exact color. It's just not dried. But that matches, almost matches this. But no, these are not the same paint. I think this is a different product. So this wall right here, this ceiling and this trim is all that remains of interior, the original interior paint. This is it. The rest of the house has been painted once or twice over. But this paint here tested hot for lead. All of it. In fact, I tested every section of this, and it all tested positive for lead. And this is what was used on the cabinets, I believe. This is the color that matches. Hey, bud. But yeah, you can see this was painted with a brush. You don't see that anymore. All of this was brushed on. I have decided not to paint over this because I like it. I think it's historic at this point. I mean, typically you don't find houses with original paintwork, but this hall or this little section of the stairwell has not been painted ever. And you can see even the moisture is getting to this. But this is, again, you see these little red marks? Those are from the lead test kit that I bought. What you do is you go to the hardware store and you can buy 1 or 2 kits or whatever. They come in little vials. And you just test any areas that are suspect. I would test areas that could either produce paint chips that might land on the floor. I would test windowsills and even walls where children might be present, young children, because children crawl around the floor and they might be tempted to, you know, lick their hands after gnawing on a windowsill or something, or they might chew on a windowsill and they might get that sweet taste that lead paint produces. And that's why kids eat windowsill paint, because it tastes good. It's very sweet. Same reason that squirrels eat lead flashing. Did you know that? I didn't know that. My neighbor had a problem where squirrels were eating his chimney flashing, and he had to reflash the chimney because, well, squirrels, apparently they love lead. So instead of using lead, he used copper. Little fun fact, if you have to have your chimney reflashed and you've got squirrels, try using copper flashing. It looks better, and it doesn't get eaten. Anyway, so I painted the columns. That's the original paint that was used. Beautiful, isn't it? I really don't like the color. I'm not really into pastel yellows. I think pastel blue and green is actually kind of nice, but yellow I'm not really into it. But right back it goes. This Circline flat ceiling paint, same deal. It's lead-free, alkylid, and it is still good. I actually tested it, and I was surprised to find that it also was usable. Anyway, once this all dries, I'm going to go back to this 4th column here. I'm going to knock out this stud that they were finishing this room and they never finished the job. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to knock all this out and I'm going to clean up the column. I've been scraping off any loose paint, and then I'm going to paint that one. But these are done off my list. There's a column over here. There's 2 columns, 1 or 2 columns. There's one there. I think there's one further back. No, that's the only one. I'm not painting that for obvious reasons. This wall is going to get sheetrocked, as well as this one here, and then I'm going to build some walls this way. And we'll turn this into another office space. So that's going to happen soon, I hope. I just got to get permits. I got to run some wire. I'm going to have these 2 rooms on the same circuit. I think that's perfectly legal. There's not really a lot of draw there. And I've already got my wire on this side. I just need to put a few outlets in there and be done with it. Okay, guys, that's it for now. Thank you all for watching, and hey, What's up, Oreo? What's up, my buddy? This little guy. Oh, yeah. Oh, my God. Oh, he got the light on. Probably blinding the poor little guy. Yeah. Oh, you love that. Meow. Oh, he loves having his head rubbed. Your tummy. Rub my tummy. He really loves that. Okay, if you come upstairs covered in yellow paint, I'm gonna eat you. That would mean that he was rubbing against the poles. Oh, I gotta eat my finger? Eat my finger? No? I gotta put this greenhouse away. It's just sitting down here, slumped on the floor. The frame's outside. Bless you. Eat my finger? Eat my finger? Eat my finger? You're just hamming it up for the camera, aren't you? Yeah, you love attention. I got your foot. Got your foot. Oh, it tastes good? I didn't think so. Oh. Alright. I gotta go now. Bye. Well, I have some not so great news. The ballast is bad. It takes, every once in a while, I'll flick the light on like that and it won't turn on. So I have to flick it off, on, like that. So, the instant start ballast is not starting. So I'm going to quickly get one ordered, have it shipped home here. And we'll swap the ballast out for a new one. That is what we have to do. There is no getting around it. But the fixture is beautiful. I love it. I'm going to keep it. We just need a new ballast. So, can't win them all.